Hey, everybody, and welcome to Bourbon Bites. I am Clifton, and today we are not doing bourbon. We're actually doing some scotch. So bear with me if you're a bourbon drinker, but I think these are some very approachable, very desirable scotches we have here today from Compass Box. I actually did another stream previously with Compass Box, so check that out on my channel. I did the Peat Monster last time. I did the Spice Tree and the Story of the Spaniard. So if you missed that, go check it out. I'll put it in the description down below too after the show. But tonight we have a few different extra Compass Box products here. These were actually, I didn't attend a tasting with the 7 Grand, which is our whiskey bar out here, but the Spirits Guide Society, which is their whiskey club, actually put together like a tasting kit, and they did a live stream with, what was the name? Scott Ellis, who was like the West Coast Compass Box ambassador. So I watched that earlier today. They did a great job, got some really cool info on that. So hopefully I can share some of that with you here today. But first of all, welcome everyone. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, I promise I'm going to start doing one or the other. Just a heads up, I'm actually going to do my first Facebook exclusive live stream on Saturday. So we're going to do a gaming stream, of course with whiskey too, a gaming and whiskey stream over on Facebook. You just go to facebook.com/bourbonbites and like the page there. I'd really appreciate it. We're at over 600 likes, which is awesome. Also on the topic of Facebook, let me just get this out of the way because I know some of y'all are still watching the ad and stuff in the live chat. So I just launched a Facebook group called the Bourbon Bites Whiskey and Gaming Lounge. If you're interested in joining, we do a lot of nerding out about like video game stuff, tech stuff, but also about whiskey. You can join that community at bourbonbites.com. I have it linking to the Facebook group. We're at almost 100 members. So there is a chance tonight we will hit 100 members. I have a new thread there where you can introduce yourself. If you have like an Instagram or a YouTube or whatever, share it. And it also does another thread, like if you're a gamer, share your Twitch page, your gamer tag, all that stuff. So really cool group there. Like I said, we're almost at 100 people. So if you haven't checked it out yet, or if you're watching this live or watching the replay, go check it out. Just bourbonbites.com and you can become a member there. Yeah, so what's everyone doing? I'm getting caught with the chat. I know there's like a little bit of a delag. Is that the new word? Delay with starting this and then the ad and all that stuff. So hope you guys are doing well. I see a lot of familiar faces here in the chat. Saw Mash and Drum earlier. Thanks for stopping in. Go check out his channel, of course. Other channels, check out Two Dudes and a Brew podcast. They left a comment earlier. They're dropping another episode tomorrow, I believe. What's up, everyone? Donnie, Tammy, Lil, Brandon. Dang, the whole gang's here tonight. Y'all must be really bored. Some lag. Nothing should be causing the lag on my end this time. So I do apologize if you guys are getting some lag. Maybe it's a StreamYard thing. Maybe it's just a me thing. So I do apologize. But we're just going to keep going because some people may not have lag. So I don't want to spend the whole time complaining about it because I've done that before. I got really thrown off. I'm like, and half the people are like, I don't see anything wrong. So I do apologize for those that are experiencing some lag. Hopefully it clears up here soon. I turned off all my devices reading Wi-Fi, actually thinking that I have an extra phone here. So I'm going to turn Wi-Fi off on that. Wi-Fi is already off on that phone, so we should be good to go. So I'm actually starting off based on, okay, someone else is having lag. Okay. I'm starting off based on Perry's stream. Perry just finished a stream of New Riff. So I poured a little bit of this year's special edition release, the Backsetter Bourbon. Okay, people are getting some lag. Just trying to think what could be causing that. I'm sorry about that, you guys. I don't have anything. Oh, but normally I can know the cause. I'm like, oh, that's the cause right here. So I do hope that clears up soon. Maybe it's my internet connection. It seemed fine earlier today, but yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm closing out of everything that could be closed out of. It was fine. I was like watching Perry stream fine. So hopefully, like I said, that clears up soon. But I'm drinking some New Riff Backsetter Rye. Okay, you guys are still having issues. Well, hopefully, like I said, there's nothing about that I can do right now. If it gets really bad, I can just like close up everything and start over. So anyways, keep me updated, you guys, if you keep having issues, because I may have to try something like that. But other than that, yeah, so we have some additional you guys with the snuffy stuff. I still regret not being there for that hangout when that happened. But so, like I said, we have some additional Compass Box tonight, including the tiniest sample ever of Rogues Banquet. Oh, I didn't even think about the fact. So I've been having a lot of YouTube issues with my mobile app on my phone. So if you're watching on your phone, or some of you may be watching on Facebook. Is anyone on Facebook having any issues? Let me know in the comments if you are. Hopefully not. But no, I've streamed to both Facebook and YouTube before, and it's been fine. I think it's YouTube. The YouTube app has been really crappy lately. So if anyone's watching on Facebook, maybe, hey, this is a good chance to go check me out on Facebook because there may not be lag there. I don't know. There might be too. But yeah, so go check out the Facebook page. Brandon says if you do a hard reset on the YouTube app, it seems to fix it. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. Hopefully it gets better throughout the night as we go on. But so I'm drinking the Backsetter bourbon from New Riff, which is basically, I did a whole video on it, but it's basically they make their bourbon and then they use like a back set, like in the mash that was before, it was like a peated Scotch. So there's a little bit of that peat influence on it. I think it's really good. I think it's the rye I'm not the biggest fan of, but the bourbon I'm a fan of. So yeah, so hopefully you guys can see me. Okay, so Juan says it's a little bit better now. So if anyone's watching on Facebook, feel free to leave me a comment. I can see those too of how it's looking on your end. But otherwise, let's go into these tastings. I'm very excited because I really enjoy the compass boxes I tried on the last stream. I think my favorite actually probably was the Peat Monster. I still have a little bit of it left. Story of the Spaniard was great. I broke the internet. Maybe so. But okay. Yeah, sorry about that, you guys. So maybe it'll get better, hopefully. It could just be a YouTube. Okay, so Donnie and Brandon are testing Facebook. Thank you guys for checking it out. If so, then it may be a YouTube issue. So hopefully, whatever it is, it gets a little better. But we're going to start with the first one. This is their actual first release. This was the very first compass box ever. It's the Hedonism release, and they have a really sexy bottle. I was going to pull up. Let me see. What's up, I Whiskey Shoe Wines? Sam, good to see you here. Please go check out their channel. They are awesome. So let me show you the info page about this whiskey. So like I said, it's a very, very sexy bottle. I mean, these bottles get sexier as we go along, you'll see. But this one is, like I said, their original release. It came out in the year 2000. It's actually the world's first, where's the info? The world's first commercially available blended Scotch. Oh, sorry, never mind. The world's first commercially available blended grain whiskey. So they were the first to do it back in the year 2000. Okay, so both Perry and Brandon say Facebook's good. So, hey, y'all haven't checked out the Facebook page, go check it out. Facebook.com/bourbonbites. I can see all your messages there. Would love to chat with y'all there too. So maybe this is the night we check that out. And of course, that is separate from the bourbon group, which is the just bourbonbites.com goes to the Facebook group. So check all that out. I would appreciate it. But yeah, so this is their Hedonism release. So I don't know. This is actually the one that they don't change up the recipe for. Oh, sorry. Backwards info. This is the one that they have different recipes for different releases. And I unfortunately do not know which release I have. They try to stick to a similar flavor profile, but they do have different ones. So the rest of these, I know exactly what's in the bottle, which is one awesome thing that Compass Box does. But this one, they have a few different batches. So I don't know which one I got, but hopefully as we go on, I can get a little more detail about each of them. Thank you so much. Donnie posted the link there to the Facebook stream. So if y'all are on YouTube, go check out Facebook. Might be a good chance to go check it out. But I'm keeping up with both chats. So love y'all wherever y'all are watching. Okay, so let's go back to the whiskey. So yeah, so this is it's a 43% ABV. It's about $100 MSRP. So it's kind of pricey, especially for like a blended whiskey. But Compass Box is known for being some of the best when it comes to blends. So, so Facebook has a lower latency than YouTube does. Gotcha. Yeah. So this is actually, like I said, the first release ever. It's actually what put them on the map. So they still make. I think it's pretty cool that they still make a version of it. Of course, it may be different than when they first released it. But like I said, it's the one that's most varied in terms of the blend. So we do know that this is This is pretty old whiskey. The youngest one that's in here is about 15 years old. So it's a pretty old whiskey in terms of a grain whiskey. The reason they change up, sorry. Brandon says the pillow on your couch is freaking me out. It looks like your cat, but I'm pretty sure it's just a pillow. Yeah, that's just pillows. Justin likes to collect couch pillows, so no, the cat is put away because he would cause a scene. He's in his like wild mood right now, so he's like running around in the bedroom. So yes, so let's go ahead and get into this whiskey. I do want to give a quick little shout out to our after party that happens after every Thursday night live stream. Right when this is over, go to Patreon. Everyone $10 and up on Patreon get access to the after party hangout. We do a Google Hangout. We drink some more. We hang out. There may be some snuffy. We don't know. We'll see. So y'all are all, like I said, $10 and up are welcome to that. But otherwise, happy to have you patrons of any level. We're doing our monthly hangout on Saturday. So that's for anyone $5 and up. So if you have $5 you can spare this month, we'd love to see you there on Saturday. And if not, again, I have a $2 level patron too. It honestly just helps support the show. So appreciate the support there over on Patreon and the support for those of you watching me on Facebook or YouTube right now. So let's go into this whiskey. So like I said, it's 43% ABV, about $100. The reason they changed up the recipe so much with this one is because the older grain whiskey they use for this is actually hard to get their hands on. So they have to switch up the distillery they're sourcing it from, maybe a different finish or whatever, but they always go for a similar flavor profile with the Hedonism. So let's go ahead and give it a try. And those of you that are drinking bourbon, cheers. You don't have to drink scotch, I promise. But I think Compass Box is a pretty approachable scotch to seek out. So cheers, you guys. We got some Snuffy Squad representing here. Thank you so much, Donnie, for the Patreon link. Really appreciate it. Ooh, that's good. It's light. It's very, honestly though, so I was noticing this a bit earlier, and it noses like a bourbon. Like, I don't think I've ever had a scotch that noses so much like a bourbon. If you told me this was a lower proof bourbon on the nose, I'd believe you. It doesn't have any of the weird, like, it is a blended grain, but it still has like a sweetness, almost like a corn sweetness from a bourbon. So that's what makes it interesting. Yeah, it's very, very nice on the nose. And I kind of skipped the nose. But going back to the palate, it's like a toffee, almost like a buttered, not a buttered popcorn, like a caramel, not caramel corn either. Like what is the other one? Kettle corn. It's like a kettle corn sweetness there. Very light, very vanilla-y, like especially for a scotch. It's like it's the same amount of vanilla level that I get on bourbon. So I think, it is $100, so it's a little pricey. However, I may have a new favorite bourbon drinker scotch to introduce people to. This, if you're a bourbon drinker and you've never tried scotch, this will be right up your alley. It's still in that territory. It has some of the graininess from, it being a grain whiskey, but really it's so approachable. And again, it's 43% ABV, so it's not 40%, but it's still not up there like we have seen lately. First of all, we got our first super sticker from Tammy Brennicky. I have my YouTube title here. It's a pair, #1 fan. Thank you, Tammy. I am your #1 fan. I love you guys. So thank you so much for the support. I would show it, but it just says super sticker. So, but I see it on YouTube. So thank you so much, Tammy. Yeah, so and super chats are also appreciated here too. Sometimes we do giveaways. I actually don't have giveaway tonight only because I only have these baby samples left of each of these, so I can't give it away. But maybe Saturday we'll do a giveaway. Well, I don't know. Like I said, it's going to be a Facebook exclusive stream on Saturday, so make sure to check out Facebook before the end of this one. Vanilla-y. Did I say vanilla-y? Yes, I am talking about the Hedonism, Donnie. Yeah, it is $100. And the color-wise, you wouldn't expect it to be so sweet and like it's not quite oaky. I don't get much oak on it. Yeah, it's more of like the sweet caramel kettle corn kind of notes, but I'm digging it. It's delicious. Yes, I would like to have a little bit more oak on it, but again, this isn't a bourbon, it's a scotch. And I do want to say that during the live stream with Scott Ellis, He did say that Hedonism is always the one he recommends starting with when you're doing a compass box flight. It's the most approachable. It's a great intro into their lineup. And I have to agree with that. That's a delicious blend. So cheers to them with that one. So Wheels joined the chat. Welcome, Brandon. Good to see you. Got both Brandons here tonight. Juan is drinking some Jim Beam Double Barrel tonight. Good budget drinker. Thanks for the recommendation. Of course, yeah. Juan and I, we always message each other like, hey, there's this whiskey that's under $20. Is it any good? We usually are like, yeah, I've tried that. Like, he and I are both suckers for good budget pours. I know you guys are. Although I know you guys are all just like, Wild Turkey 101 all the time. But there's a couple other good ones out there. And you guys know I love Jim Beam. So Donnie says, none of the things we find offensive in some scotches. Absolutely. None of that in this at all. None of the peat. None of the, I hate to say bile note, but it's the bile note we talked about before. Just really sweet. If you don't like a super sweet whiskey, you may not get behind it. But that's the only thing that I would say is like somewhat off-putting. It's not off-putting. That's the only thing that I could see someone saying is off-putting about this. It's just very light and like toasty vanilla, marshmallowy, I would say, in a way. I keep saying, can you stop adding E onto things? What's up, Trav Wilson? Go check out his channel. He just launched it recently. We all know Trav Wilson, but he has an awesome channel. He's been doing some reviews there, some blind flights. His stream last week was awesome. I happened to catch that one, or this week. It was literally yesterday. Yeah, it's been a long week. So go check him out. Always a big supporter of this show and everyone's show, basically. So I think that's why his channel's doing so well, because like everyone's like, oh my God, Trev has a channel. So you guys go check that out. Brandon says, I've only tried a few scotches, but can you really get oak on the nose or palate in scotch? Well, okay, well you get if you're talking about peated scotches, probably not as much because that peat is such a powerful flavor. However, with like a Space Side or something, if it's an older one, you can, especially at cask strength. I mean, Brandon, I've told you, cask strength scotch is where it's at. So this is a bit different. These aren't cask strength. They are lower proof. I don't think any of them are over 49% ABV. But yeah, I get more of the oak on the cask strength scotches, but not normal. What do you guys think? Those of you in the chat, do you get much oak? Is there a scotch that brings out a lot of oak for you? Definitely not as much as bourbon, because bourbon, again, is first fill, new oak, whereas scotch is almost always used barrels. So yeah, so I mean, Hedonism is an awesome start. I'm actually going to finish that off now so we can move on to the next whiskey. I forgot to ask you guys, what are y'all drinking? I know you guys, some of you guys told me at the beginning of the chat, but yeah, let me know what you're drinking. What's in your glass? Whether it's Compass Box or bourbon or whatever you're drinking. I don't discriminate against spirits. Maybe you have vodka in your glass. I don't know, Tammy. Tammy might have some vodka in her glass. We'll see. Just kidding, Tammy. Love you. Wheels has Oak Cross. Actually, I'm going to move to that one in just a bit. I have a couple to try before Oak Cross. So Steven has it. Oh, yeah. So Trevor, the YouTube app is terrible. This past 2 weeks, the YouTube mobile app has glitched on every stream I've watched. That's what I thought maybe people were having issues with before, but people are watching on their computers and also having issues. So yeah, the YouTube app lately, it's been glitching. So if you're watching on YouTube app, maybe switch to the Facebook app. I keep promoting the Facebook page. Honestly, I'm just excited that I've got that up and running now, and kind of making more of like Facebook, more of like the gaming side of things maybe, as opposed to Twitch. So I'm just going to test that out this weekend. I'm going to play some of Fall Guys. If you guys seen that's like this trending game now, it looks like tons of fun. I think I'm going to play that on Saturday. Pair it with some, I don't know, I got to find a whiskey that would pair with that. What whiskey would you pair with that game? For those of you that know the game, I'm curious to hear what you would pair for that. Okay, I don't know if I read that, but he said you can get oak on some non-peated bourbon barrel finished scotches with a good bit of age. Gotcha. Tammy says she only drinks vodka for super chats. There we go. Well, you sent your own super chat, so there we go. Shot of vodka for Tammy. Scary Peeper is drinking some Maker's SE4 tonight. What do you think of that one? I reviewed it recently, and I still have a bottle, and I need to revisit it because I didn't really love it that night, but I've been reading some really good reviews of it, so I got to revisit that. Steven has some Foursquare rum. See, he's branching out a bit, not sticking with the bourbon. So Brandon asked how I got these samples. These actually have, these came from 7 Grand here in LA. There's a whiskey society there called the Spirits Guide Society. They actually have a podcast too. Go check that out. But they did a tasting last Thursday with Scott Ellis, which is the West Coast representative of Compass Box. Unfortunately, their live streams are always the exact same time I do my live stream, so I wasn't able to watch it. I did watch the replay earlier today, but it was a great stream. Check them out. But yeah, they always go live at the same time I do, so I can never watch them live. As Treble says, Fall Guys is great. Donnie says Facebook stream has no issues. So if you need encouragement to get away from YouTube tonight, head on over to Facebook. Make sure to, if you're on Facebook and you haven't liked the page yet, please hit that like button on the page. I'm trying to really build that out, really grow it. And especially if you haven't joined the Facebook group, let's see what number we're at the group. Like I said, you can go to bourbonbites.com and see the Facebook group I keep mentioning. We got 93 members. We are 7 members away from having 100 at the Facebook group. So, like I said, bourbonbites.com. It's like a Facebook community. We all drink there. You don't have to like, that's the thing. I don't want people to think you have to like video games to be a part of it. It's just an aspect of it that I feel like is not really there in a lot of other whiskey groups. So it's more of like bourbon, but like also we nerd out about some things like graphics cards and computer builds and desk chairs. If y'all join, y'all see what I mean. But So, and Brandon says, don't forget to smash that like button. Yes, that's Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, I didn't forget about you. There's a like button down there too. And subscribe if you're new to my YouTube channel. Welcome. I'm Clifton. This is Bourbon Bites Whiskey Reviews with a retro gaming twist. The gaming twist might happen on Facebook though. So still experimenting, but love you guys. And thank you all for the support. So anyways, we need to drink more whiskey. I've only drank one. I mean, come on. We're 20 minutes in the stream and we've only drank one whiskey. So let's go ahead and pour the next pour of the night. This one is definitely the other direction. This is not a $100 bottle. This one is, almost at Oak Cross. This one is Great King Street Artist's Blend. So let me share that with you so you can see some info on that one. Let me get that pulled up right here. Okay. So this is the Artist Blend. This is the bottle for that. It comes in like a nice little tube. If you saw my thumbnail, you saw the tube. So what this one is part of like, their Great King Street is like its own independent category of Compass Box. They have different blends. There's like I forgot what the other one that someone was telling me about. Wheels, you're telling me about it on Discord. They have that blend, but they have this one called the Artist Blend. Now this one's interesting because it is only $35. 43% ABV. It's a blend of malt and grain whiskeys. It's about 55% malt, 45% grain. High malt content is intentional because this is designed for bartenders. They actually designed this to appeal to mixing, but it's great on its own too. Again, it's $35, so it's not intended to be this high-end sipper. It's like a budget sipper, but a pretty not decently priced mixing whiskey. Yeah, and it's actually inspired by a 100-year-old recipe. They actually tried to emulate a recipe from 100 years ago, which you can see the design is like very obviously influenced by the past. So they actually, this is the way whiskey was apparently 100 years ago. They made it in that style. So I'm very excited to get into this and dig a little deeper into it. Will said, he was talking about the Glasgow blend. Yeah, that one's actually peated. That one sounds really good. I got to check that one out. Steven says, so I should drink something that has a roller coaster of flavors for the fall guys. So something with lots of depth. Ooh, great idea, Steven. I like that idea. I have a lot of those whiskeys. That'll be fun. So yeah, I'll figure out which ones I'm doing for that stream. But like I said, that's on Facebook only. So if you want to watch that, check out Facebook. So yeah, so this is the Great King Street Artist Blend. 43% ABV, $35, like I said. This is mostly, so they actually post the recipe. I forgot to scroll down to it, but it's mostly a mix of Kleinleich, I think I'm pronouncing that right, Kleinleich, and Cameron Bridge. Those are the main distilleries that make up Great King Street's Artist Blend. If you're curious, if that makes sense to you. I'm not super familiar with either of those distilleries, so it doesn't mean too much to me, but I know it does to a lot of people. Again, Compass Box is so, they reveal everything. There's no secrets. You know exactly what's in there. You don't know the age of what's in there. As far as I know, yeah, they don't say like the age of what they're putting in there, but it's a blend. So, but I think that's really cool. So let's go ahead and give that a sip, shall we? Cheers, you guys. Well, I'm so excited to drink the whiskey, I forget to nose it a lot of times. So sorry. Let's go ahead and nose the Great King Street Artist Blend. Now that's like a completely different, lighter note. So I said this one was light. The first one was like light and like a caramel sweetness, like a candy corn or like a cotton candy sweetness. This one's light in a different way. Yeah, this is definitely fruity. Fruity like apples, like green apples. Not like baked apples. They smell like fresh apples. Still got that sweetness, but it's a very pleasant nose. Again, approachable, again, for people that aren't Scotch drinkers. So Tammy says that Brian has actually got her to start drinking other Scotches. There's a lot more than just peat. Band-Aids are dirty feet. Yes, cheers to that, Tammy. And thank you for saying that, like, it's good to branch out, especially, like, we all know bourbon lover at heart, but I like trying new things. I don't limit myself just to bourbon. So with that, let's go ahead and give this a taste. Cheers. Still appley, but it's more citrus in a way. It's I said like the nose is like fresh apples. The taste of it's a little more like a baked apple pie or something, like a cinnamon apples maybe, but it's not like a dark baking spice. It's like a this is like an apple pie that is like halfway done cooking. It's like a very ripe apple, but also like that pie crust note. Let me go in for a second sip. There's a lot to this one. For a $35 whiskey, this is a lot to this one. Dare I say peaches? There's something about that reminds me of like biting into like a peach, or even, like I said, still that pie note, like a peach cobbler kind of taste. But it's not like a really baked, like overcooked peach. It's just like same with the apple. It's like a halfway cooked peach cobbler. Like you use like fresh peaches instead of like cooked peaches. I know that doesn't make much sense, but that's kind of how I'm interpreting the flavor. I mean, damn, like they say this is for cocktails, but I enjoy this every bit as much neat. And I actually may go grab a bottle of this one because I'm curious to see how it actually does hold up in cocktails. I don't know very many Scotch cocktails. Do you guys have any Scotch cocktail recipes that you are that you like? I don't know where I was going with that. I don't typically make like Scotch cocktails, but I know there are some out there. I know that, like, a lot of them do highballs with Scotches. Dark and stormy. No, that's rum, right? Yeah. You see, I don't know. I don't really do much with Scotch cocktails, but I know there's a market for it. I mean, like I said, they made this specifically for bartenders. So, but yeah, that's just so nice on its own. And the finish of it, it's a pretty long finish for 43% ABV. It goes more in like a darker, like, let me give it another try. So the finish goes more into like a tobacco leaf, like not like smoking tobacco, but just like the how tobacco smells before you like burn it. It's like almost that. I like the smell of that. I don't like the smell of cigarettes, but I like the smell of like tobacco itself. Oh gosh, Brian says, wondering how the Ardbeg will hold up after 320 proof bourbons. It'll hold up. I mean, peat is, even if it's not a high proof, peat will still stand up against high proof bourbons. So Steven says highballs are super big in Japan. Yeah. So yeah, Japanese whiskey, Scotch whiskey, I know there's like cocktails that are specific to it. I just don't have much experience with them. So yeah, I mean, this is very delicious. I do want to save a little bit more. I'm going to pour a little bit more of it because I have one to compare to it that's even more interesting. It's actually a new release that they haven't really done much before. So let me pour more of that one just to have a comparison. All right. And let me rinse my glass while we're taking a break. I don't have anything else to promote because I've promoted everything already. I was like, no, I talked about Patreon, I talked about the after party, I talked about the Facebook group, and I talked about the Facebook page. So we're all good. So I'm not going to bombard your ears with promotion anymore. Jason agrees. He's getting peach on the Great King Street as well. Yeah, it's a note that I've never gotten on a whiskey before. I'm digging it though. All right, so this next one is really interesting. So this one is, there was a little bit of the hedonism left in the glass of that water. I was like, why does that water taste like candy? That was good. I don't recommend mixing that much water with your whiskey though. But next one up is a new thing. So this is Great King Street single barrel. Now, you may be wondering, single barrel, how is it a single barrel? It's a blend. Like, what the hell? That's misleading information. They do, on the label, I saw a picture of the label, they do call it a marriage barrel or a single marriage. So what they do with this one is really cool. This is for this is the single barrel that $7 whiskey, or $7 the bar got. So I'm not sure. I know there's a few different $7 around. I'm not sure they all will have it when they open back up. Our bars are still closed here. So, but what they do is they take the Great King Street Artist Blend, the exact same one we just had, but what they do is they take that finished product and go back to one of the barrels that was part of the blend, and they put it back into that barrel. So the stores get to actually pick, like, okay, do we want this to be a little more sherry? Do we want it to be a little more grain forward? So they actually can pick which barrel they want to put it back into and extend the aging in that barrel. So with this one, they put it back in the refilled sherry cask from Linkwood Distillery. So that means this is going to it's going to be basically the Great King Street Artist Blend, but that sherry influence is going to be amped up a bit. So I'm excited to give this a try. That was just water I was finishing off here. And do a comparison side by side with the regular Great King Street. Oh yeah, I can't recommend 7 of Grand enough. They're a fantastic whiskey bar. I would be lost without them here in LA. Donnie, that doesn't count. He said, not even Crown Royal Peach. Yeah. Okay, I guess I have had a peach whiskey, but you know what I mean. So let me get this one over here. So let me take one more sip of the Great King Street one that we had earlier. Just to have a basis right there. That's nice. So I don't actually know the price on this other one. Like I said, it's a single barrel for a bar. I don't know if they're even doing this for retailers. So I don't know the price on it. I do know that this one's 49.5% ABV. So it's higher proof. Like I said, they're putting it back in a barrel. It's aging a bit. And they're also not proofing it down. So this one comes out at 49.5% ABV compared to the 43% of the other one. So let's go ahead and give this a taste. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. Oh, that's a good point. Wesley Zeller says only Scotch cocktail I've had is the penicillin, which is basically a Scotch whiskey sour. I actually have had a penicillin before. Wasn't really my thing. I think it was before I really got into like peated scotches. So like they do like a floater, I think, of like peated scotch. At least the one that I had at a bar. Wasn't feeling that one, but I do need to revisit it now that I'm more into scotch. So Steven has seen single barrels in New York before. Awesome. Yeah, I'm not sure the pricing. Do you happen to know like what they go for compared to like the $35 Great King Street Artist Blend? Welcome, Aaron. Good. I said your name wrong. Welcome, Aaron. Welcome to the chat. I don't think I've seen, or I may have seen your name before in like 1 or 2 other streams, but good to see you. Glad to have you here. Some people were having YouTube issues earlier, so I was trying to throw people over to my Facebook. We're also streaming on Facebook. Just facebook.com/bourbonbites, just in case you have any technical difficulties on YouTube. I think they've cleared up a bit now, though. So, all right, so let's go ahead and go to the single barrel Great King Street. Oh yeah, that Pete. I was reading a comment. That sherry is so apparent on the nose. Like I said, they put it back in the sherry, like the sherried whiskey barrel. So you're going to get extra sherry from this one. Okay, Steven says it was about $45. So a little bit more, but that's not bad, especially for some higher proof points and a unique finishing on it. I would say it's more of like a finish than a single barrel, if that makes sense. Like they put the finished product back into a barrel that the store picks. I guess I'd describe it more like a finished whiskey. Wesley says smoky and sour are a good combo. Hey, yeah, I definitely need to revisit that. Yeah, on the nose, super sherry, but I'm curious to see how it affects the taste. Cheers. So it's different. It's not that I don't get any of the peachiness anymore. Still a little of the apple, but the peach is definitely overshadowed by the sherry. That's really nice. It tastes like a different whiskey, and that's what's weird to me. So I'm going to go back to the first one, just do a little side by side. Yeah, the artist blend is very light, bright, very, very, there's I don't even get any of the sherry. Brandon says Cliffy's making an early appearance. No, I gotta keep calm because I have an appointment early in the morning, so I gotta not too crazy in the after party tonight. Not that you guys can't get crazy, but I gotta just keep it small for us. Yeah, the artist blend is very sweet, whereas this one goes back to those darker notes that the hedonism kind of had. I'm a sherry fan, but I will say that sherry kind of does overtake it a bit. So if you know that you like the regular artist blend and you see a single barrel, just ask your store, like, hey, what barrel did you guys pick to do like the final aging process in? If they pick the sherry barrel and you're not a sherry fan, you may not like this one, even if you like the original, because that sherry influence definitely rubs off significantly. Not necessarily, I mean, like it doesn't look dark. It still looks like a lighter whiskey, but it kind of overtakes the brighter notes of the. Yeah, I'm not getting like the bright, like the peachy notes or anything that I really enjoyed about the oak, or not oak cross, the artist blend. Yeah, I don't know. I appreciate the higher proof of this, but I will say I thought the artist blend was actually fine on its own. It didn't need the extra blending. However, again, for $10 more, definitely give it a try. If you're a sherry fan like I am, you may like this. And shout out to 7 Grand. This is fantastic. I actually, if it's priced well in their menu, this may actually be my go-to. Like, I'm going to 7 Grand. I'm gonna have a pour or something. It's very good, and I love trying. My favorite thing about going to whiskey bars once they finally reopen, please soon, please, is trying their picks and getting a taste for what their spirit person, what their profile is. So I trust 7 Grand. This is pretty delicious. Brian, your comment hasn't popped up on StreamYard, but I'm seeing it on YouTube. He says, I'm beginning to question Cliffy's judgment with the disdain for In-N-Out. The double animal style is exquisite. I know, I'm going to upset my California fans, but I had so much high hopes for In-N-Out, hearing about it all my life. I came out here for my honeymoon back in 2017, had In-N-Out, and I was less than impressed. I even ordered it animal style. Like, I followed all the BuzzFeed listicles on how to order your In-N-Out. But it just... the burger was fine. I didn't like the fries. I didn't like, they were like not very salty. They weren't very greasy. I don't know. And like, there are better options out here, but I will say, if you're from the Southeast and you guys have Cookout, my heart is with Cookout. I love Cookout so much. We don't have it out here. Still though, out here, I would rather have Carl's Jr., I think, or Carl's Jr. and Hardee's are the same thing. So, if you have Hardee's is like East Coast, Carl's Jr. is West Coast, same company, same products. I definitely prefer Carl's Jr. over In-N-Out. Sorry, not sorry. I don't know. We're starting to debate here. Steven says, I haven't been on Compass Box's website in a bit. It's cool to see the transparencies even more now. You don't even have to email them. Yeah, it's there. If you buy any Compass Box product, go to their website. You can see everything that's in that whiskey, which is awesome. Brandon says, we can't be friends anymore. Blasphemy. Okay, somewhat Scary Peeper appreciates the Cookout. Yeah, I mean, you like what you like. I just think I was very underwhelmed by In-N-Out. So sorry, California folks. But we got 2 more whiskeys to drink, and we only have 20 minutes. So let's go ahead and move on. By the way, I appreciate y'all sticking around tonight. I know it's not a bourbon stream. I understand why I have less viewers because it's not bourbon. But for those of you that are curious about Scotch, thank you for hanging with me. And those of you that love Scotch, hey, I'm in your world today. I love Perry. I love your comment. He says, Cookout is a gift to humanity, and I will not be persuaded otherwise. Thank you. I literally, like, when I go back to South Carolina, I have to eat at 2 restaurants. One, Cookout. I just have to go to Cookout. Yes, I know it's where all like the high school, like, cool boys in their big old trucks hang out in the parking lot, but I don't care. It's good. Other one that I go to every time I'm back in South Carolina is Bojangles. If you guys don't have Bojangles in your area, yes, I know there's Popeyes. We have plenty of Popeyes out here. Bojangles, though, their seasoning, I don't know why I'm on this tangent, but I'm passionate about it. Bojangles, I love their seasoning on their chicken. I think it's fantastic. You don't have to order spicy or regular. You just order their chicken. It's delicious. Big fan of Bojangles. Okay. Anyways, let me go back to the whiskey. Five Guys. I haven't had Five Guys in a while. I used to think I didn't like it, but I haven't had it, so I can't really say that. So anyways, back to the whiskey. You guys are getting me talking about fast food. Perry, you told us that before. He says Bojangles makes me poop. Not me, but I've had certain foods that trigger that for me too. So I've never had White Castle. Don asked, has anyone tried White? She'll tell you that White Castle is a bad idea. I've never had it. I've had the frozen White Castle burgers, but I've never had the restaurant, which, I mean, they're kind of the same thing, aren't they? Okay, not going to offend anybody. You like what you like. You like bourbon, you like Scotch, you like both. You just like getting drunk on the internet. That's me. I'm just expecting someone to use that as my like intro. Like I know Bill the Whiskey Dick, when I was on his stream, he made like little intro videos for everyone, like just random clips from their live stream. That should be mine. I should save that. What time are we at? We're at 39 minutes and like 40 seconds. I'm sending him that. Like, hey, next time you need to introduce me, use that. I should have added like a knob or dickle thing there too. Like the knob, you like the dickle. You like the compass box. You like what you like. Brennan had 8 White Castle burgers. Okay, now we're talking about fast food. You guys, this is an after party chat. We will debate this on the after party. Like I said, $10 and up patrons, just patreon.com/bourbonbites. If you're not yet a patron, now's a great time because you can debate your favorite fast food restaurant and we will pick a winner and we will send you a meal. I'm just kidding. We won't send you a meal, but we might if we get drunk enough. Perry just says Zaxby's also makes me poop. maybe something with the way they fry their chicken or the breading or something. I don't know. Because Zaxby's breading is very similar to Buffalo Trace. Cliffy's here. Zaxby's breading is very similar to Bojangles. So I wonder if it's something, conspiracy. Anyways, we had 2 more whiskeys to do tonight. So the next one we're moving on to, I got to say, I've seen this everywhere for the longest time. And I've always debated picking it up, but it was before I was really familiar with Compass Box, and I knew that it was a blended whiskey. So that kind of scared me, but now that I know that Compass Box does good blends, I had to pick it up. Thank you so much, Donnie, for that link. Emily says, Perry, you may have a grease issue. Maybe because it's grease. You're not wrong. Okay, so moving on to the final 2 whiskeys of the night. The last one I'm very, very excited for. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about the one that I was just describing, and that is Oak Cross. So this is actually a pretty relatively new release as far as I'm aware. It's just recently started popping up, like about earlier this year, or maybe it was into last year, it started popping up. So this one, I'm going to pull up the info card right here for you guys so you can read a little bit about it. Let's see, Oak Cross. Okay, so this is Oak Cross. Again, very pretty bottle. Their design is impeccable. So what they do is they actually use American oak and French oak when they're aging it. So this is actually, so I don't know, some of you that are familiar with Compass Box, they had a very early release of, just referencing my notes here, of Spice Tree. Yeah, so those of you that watched my last stream knew that the Spice Tree that I was trying was not the original Spice Tree. They actually pulled that one from the market. Well, their goal with Oak Cross was to replicate that similar flavor profile, but they aged it a little bit differently. So what they did is they combined American oak and French oak. They used French oak as like the heads and tails of the barrel. I guess that's what it's called. But that French oak brings out way more of like a toasty note than the American oak. So that's what their goal was with this one. I'm going to go down to the recipe down here. Yeah, so here's the recipe. Let me see if I can zoom in so you guys can see that. I don't know if you guys can see it. Probably not. So the majority of it is Kleinleich Distillery. I'm probably mispronouncing it again. 47% of it is first fill bourbon barrels from Kleinleich. There's some Dalwhinnie in there, 14%, and some Highland malt blend, which brings out more of like a malty fruitiness to it. So again, super transparent. I love Compass Box for that. That's pretty awesome. I wish more American blenders were that transparent because I'd be way more into them. So let's go ahead and pour some of this in our glass and give it a try. I like how Steven's just like, I might fry some chicken. That sounds like a very Steven thing to do on the Hangout. Or just make some frozen chicken nuggies. Sweet and sour sauce. I actually, I haven't had sweet and sour sauce since I was a kid, but yet I loved it as a kid. So now I'm like, why the hell have I not got sweet and sour sauce? I've always gravitated towards honey mustard. It's always my go-to sauce, but man, I haven't had sweet and sour sauce in a bit. Dang it, Jason, that sounds good. So this one, on the nose, it's more vanilla. It's very hedonism territory. This is 43% ABV, about $50. And little insider tip to you guys that hasn't been announced yet, and I promise I'm not going to get in trouble for this because someone else already said it on the other stream. Oat Cross has been discontinued. So, if you're a fan of Oat Cross, again, $50 blended whiskey, but if you are a fan, this is no longer being made. They haven't made an official announcement yet, but the West Coast representative told us on the stream last week they're out of this whiskey. They don't have any more, and they don't have enough to replicate it to, keep putting it out. So, Dalyuan. Oh, is it not Dalwhinnie? I don't freaking know. Anyways, yeah, so this Oat Cross has been discontinued. So if you see it at your store, or if you had it before and you like it, grab a bottle because you won't be seeing it much longer. I actually just ordered a bottle as soon as I heard that news. I literally just ordered one. So I'm drinking from a sample now, but I just bought my own bottle. And that kind of tells you a little bit of how I feel about it. Yeah, it's bright, like almost like the artist blend, but it's still more of like it reminds me the most of Hedonism, but it's bringing in some of that King Street notes to it too, the apple a bit. On the palate, it's way more like the King Street blend. Little grainy, like cereally. So I know a lot of people. That's one of the notes Donnie asked earlier. Are there any off-putting notes in this that someone may not like if they don't like Scotch? This one does have a little bit of that cereal note. So if you don't like that cereal graininess, you might not like this one. But other than that, it's like it's still apple, but it's more of like a seasoned apple, like a gingery apple, if that makes sense. Oh, they're talking about the sauce. Okay. I was confused. Okay, yeah. Dalwhinnie's a different one. I did I read the wrong one? I'm sorry about that. What did I say? Get my facts straight before people call me out. What is this? Oh, you're right. It isn't Dalwhinnie. Wow. I read it as Dalwhinnie, but you're right. It's what did you say it was pronounced as? Thank you guys for correcting me. Yeah, that I completely messed that up. Where did you say? Oh, Dalyuan. Thank you, Donnie. It looks like it's spelled like Dalwhinnie. It's spelled Dailuaine. That's how I would say Dalwhinnie. I'm from South Carolina, y'all. I'm sorry. So Brian says, I relate more to Mr. Poopy Pants. And then Tammy's like, and I'm bad for some vodka super chats, Brian. I love you guys. So, Oat Cross. What can I say about Oat Cross other than the fact that after I tried it, I had to buy a bottle? It for $50, it stood out to me. I do like the Great King Street or Artist Blend, but it's still available. It's not like going anywhere. Just knowing that Oat Cross is discontinued, I had to pick up a bottle of it. I'm a fan of it. I like a little bit of that cereal grainy note. Yeah, it's like a apple butter with ginger. It's like the food note I'm comparing to. I'm getting really hungry talking about these whiskeys. It's the most scotchy of any of these, I'll say. So if you're not a fan of like a scotchy flavor, you may not like it. But to me, I dig it. I think I'm going to buy this. Like I said, I bought this already. I think I'm going to buy the Great King Street Artist Blend as well because for $35, they say it's a bartender's whiskey. It's fantastic sipped. So I'll have to pick that one up too. But with 10 minutes left, let's move into our final whiskey of the night, the one that I know a lot of you guys, especially my guys in my local group, have been wanting to hear my thoughts on. That will be... I need to rinse that glass because there's still some of that sherry influence. This is the one that I had the oat cross in earlier. Not the oat cross, sorry, the single barrel earlier. Everyone's in nuggy time. Guys, give me 10 more minutes. Come on, this is the most expensive one of the night. So this one is called Rogues Banquet. So this is actually their limited edition release for this year. Well, they have a few every year, but this is one of this year's limited releases. Talk about beautiful. Look at this sexy ass label. Like, it's beautiful artwork. I mean, it's fantastic. It's deserving of the $220 price tag. At least that's what I'm seeing it in Southern California. It's $220. Yeah, so this one is a beast of whiskey. This is the only one that I haven't tried yet. So again, I have the tiniest little baby pour, less than half an ounce, I would say. So that's what I'm going to try tonight. So like I said, I got to make sure my glass is clean. Got to make sure I'm enjoying this to its full extent. So this one is an interesting blend. It is almost entirely, 70% of it is from the Milton Duff Distillery, which is using a recharred hogshead. So it's got an extra charred like toastiness to it. And that brings out, they say, fudge, dried cherry, and ginger. The rest of it is a mix of North British Distillery, which is a first fill bourbon barrel. Then it has some Clynelish in it, which is a refill sherry, and Glen Elgin Distillery, which is also a recharred barrel. So yeah, so like I said, sexy ass label. Actually, fun fact, apparently it was inspired by a Rolling Stones album. I'm not sure which one, something with Banquet in it. Yeah, that's like a trivia fact. If any of you guys know what this is inspired by, I'll give you a closer look at it real quick. In case there's some music. I know a lot of you guys are music fans, so yeah, there's like a frog in the middle of the table. And yeah, so total number of bottles for this one, there are only 5,267 bottles, which is why we got such a small pour of it. Again, I only paid $50 for all these samples and the tasting with them, so cannot complain. But yeah, really sexy bottle. What's up, Heather? Sup, Clifton and Snuffy Crew. Recharred barrel. I love to try a bourbon finish like that. Yeah, I mean, so Perry, is it not that similar to like a toasted barrel? Like when Michter's does like a toasted barrel rye, or Elijah Craig toasted barrel? Is it not? Wouldn't it be similar? Maybe I'm getting my terms confused, because I would assume a recharred barrel is similar to a toasted barrel, but maybe it's just they like blast it. I don't know. Someone's more of an expert than me in that subject. So, anyways, let's pour this little bit of Rogues Bigfoot. Now, this is actually in celebration of their 20th anniversary. This year marks 20 years at Compass Box. So I can't believe they've been around that long. I just recently started hearing about them. I mean, of course, I'm not very familiar with Scotch, so. Okay, so Perry says what I'm talking about is a barrel that's already been charred and used in the charred again. Gotcha. Yeah, I guess I'm not super familiar with the terms, like in terms of that. I guess I just haven't talked to enough master distillers. But Tammy says, if I'm new enough to Scotch and don't enjoy varied flavors with massive peat, should I wait on Compass Box? Oh, no, none of these have been peated. Honestly, the only Compass Box I've had that was like super peated was this this one. If you see a Compass Box with this logo on it, maybe you should be a little scared of it. Oh, come on, focus. Yeah, it's a little bit scary of a logo. It's not focusing, but it's called the Peat Monster. There we go. Yeah, so this was the Peat Monster, so avoid that one. But Tammy, honestly, I would just, if you're scared of trying them, go find the release that you're interested in, go to their website and look at the distilleries, and then Google that distillery. If it's peated, you'll very obviously see that on the internet. If it's not, then you won't see that. Yeah, Donnie says not all Compass Box is peaty. Perry said toasted is a process separate from what. Okay, hold on. Toasted is a process separate to where they toast the staves prior to or after charring the barrel itself. Gotcha. You're right, and you're right, because I know one of them said that they like leave their staves out in the sun to like sun dry after toasting it. So confusing my terms. Thank you for the clarification, Perry. Of course, there's a reason to have you around, other than to judge me for drinking Scotch and not bourbon. But okay, so let's go ahead and go for the Rogues Banquet. Like I said, a 20-year anniversary. They say that this was a feast of a whiskey, which inspired the name. Whew, that's pretty intense. I don't know the ABV. No, it's 46% ABV. So Jason asks, have I tried the Spice Tree yet? So I actually tried it in my last Compass Box stream I did a few weeks back. It was apparently the new Spice Tree, not the old one, because the old one got discontinued apparently. So yes, I've tried it, and I did enjoy it. I don't remember which one was my favorite. I'll have to rewatch my stream, but let's go ahead and I can just say on the nose, it's fruity, but like a little less fruity than like a sherry. It's more of like it's bourbony. It's like like sometimes you get like a red, like a cherry note on a bourbon. I'm getting a little bit of that there, but it's really complex. I'm excited to give this a try. So Cheers to this $220 whiskey that I will never see a bottle of. Whew. Whew. So you guys know when you have a bourbon that's in limited edition and you know you paid a hefty price for it and you're really being like, I hope this whiskey is worth it. I hope it was worth the price. This, I tell you right now, tastes like an extremely complex, delicate. Yes, it's lower proof, it's delicate, but complex and some masterful blending went on in this. Now, would I personally pay $220 for it because I'm not a Scotch drinker? I probably wouldn't, but that's because I'm not familiar. I can't really understand it to the level that some people can. However, let's go another sip. My mouth is watering from this. Fruity. Almost chocolatey, like a sweet milk chocolate, like a chocolate covered cherry, I will say. Interesting. Barry says, I love expensive whiskey samples. They warm my heart. They do indeed. And I'm so glad again, buy a whole bottle of it or try it at a $50 tasting with other things. Absolutely give it a try. All right, Perry is heading off to go to bed or not go to bed, get some work done. There you go. Don't go to bed, Perry. I know you want to. See ya, Perry. And if you guys haven't checked out his channel and his podcast, check it out. This is My Bourbon Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, and check him out on YouTube. He does streams right before me every Thursday night, so check that out. Whew, this Rogues Banquet, man. It still has some of the toasty, like cereal. I always say malt and cereal are a similar note. It's like I don't want to be like Honey Nut Cheerios, but like, is that a weird note? Like, it's like Honey Nut Cheerios, but without the sweetness, like just like a plain Cheerio. And I see what they're saying by saying it's a beast of a whiskey, or a feast, not a beast. Compass Box is a beast. This is rich. Mouthfeel is incredible. It's got the mouthfeel of a cask strength bourbon at only 46% ABV. Fruity, but like none of it is like overwhelming. It doesn't like lean too far sherry. It doesn't lean too far like apple. It's not in the apple territory. It's definitely in the red fruit. It's like I don't want to say stone fruit. We've had this debate, but it's like a red. I want to say it's not really raspberry because it's not tart, but it's like a dark red fruit. Cereal, but it has fruitiness. It's like a chocolate covered. Oh, okay. So I said chocolate covered cherry. So chocolate covered cherry plus. Have you guys had any of those like yogurt covered like cereals, like the cereals that have like the strawberry yogurt in it? It's like Special K. It's a little Special K yogurty, but I like that note. I appreciate that. So it's like that and cereal. I'm sure that they wouldn't appreciate me describing their $220 whiskey as Special K, but oh yeah. So thank you for the reminder, Donnie. We are doing the after party. We're wrapping up right now. We have almost been, man, I was worried about timing. We just made the timing. We are right at an hour. So thank y'all for keeping me in line. Yeah, that's something special. I'm a little salty that I just drank it all and it's all gone, but I gotta say, best thing I've had all night and probably best thing that I've had in a long time. So take that for what you will. But with that, thank you all so much for watching. This has been my Thursday night stream. Normally I do a Saturday stream on YouTube, but this week I'm actually going to do it on Facebook. So again, if you haven't liked the Facebook page, it's facebook.com/bourbonbites. Would love to see you guys there on Facebook on Saturday. That's also where I'm gonna lead into the monthly Patreon hangout on Saturday. That's for all $5 and up patrons, but I'll link to it directly once that stream's over. But if you are $10 and up tonight, like Donnie said, there's an after party happening. So keep an eye out on Patreon. If you haven't joined Patreon, you got like 5-ish minutes before I start. I mean, you can join anytime. These usually go for like an hour or two. So thank you all so much for watching tonight. It has been a joy. Thank you so much, Tammy, for the super chat earlier, and thank you all just for being here and being family. So, have a wonderful evening. I'll see you Saturday. We're gonna play some Fall, like I said, some Fall Guys. Steven gave a good suggestion of like a roller coaster of whiskey, so we're gonna do a few fun whiskeys. So, Aaron says next week cereal and fast food pairings. Man, don't get me started. that might be a thing. All right, cheers, you guys. I'll see y'all next Thursday here on YouTube, and those of you watching on Facebook, I'll see you on Saturday. All right, have a great evening, and see y'all at the after party. Cheers.